back.
All right.
And
sorry about that.
And we're back.
All right, so we were pretty much talking about like we changing our Kevin Owens pick, or Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, because he's going away. Seth Rollins is about to be written off of TV for a while.
Yeah, because I think him and Becky Lynch are actually going to go and get married and all that other stuff.
Let's go back to the card. Let's just speaking of Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. What do you think, Jay?
Shayna Baszler for the exact reasons that we were just discussing.
Yep.
Shayna Baszler, she's a proven commodity. It's a proven commodity. So I mean, I don't know if Vince is that convinced that she's the woman to go and lead the division. But at this point, you've already hitched yourself to this wagon. You might as well just keep it pushing and do what you should be doing.
Yep.
And, give the title to Shayna Baszler. But most importantly, give creative control of Shayna Baszler's story to Triple H, because apparently he's the only person that knows how to freaking book her and make her not look like a knockoff from a freaking Blade movie. But
I don't know what the deal. I don't know what the deal was with that.
I don't understand.
Betty.
So obviously, the answer here is Shayna Baszler. And what I would like to see is you take Becky off TV. All right, Shayna Baszler starts to dominate the division, pretty much to the point where she's just wiping the floor with people. And you already started the thing up with the Elimination Chamber, right? Where you can actually build towards, her having this ego, like, this is you guys, you're like, everybody's beneath me. There's nobody that can stand up to me and all of this other stuff. And you build up to a potential match, like, say, because of the fact that, she only wants to be on like a part-time schedule when she comes back, her and Rousey. You put the two of them in the ring together and you have her annihilate Ronda Rousey. You have her take her out and be like, this is who was running this shit before? Nah, this is my division now.
I like that.
You have the opportunity to actually turn Shayna Baszler into the killer that she is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Although this is WWE, and I sincerely doubt that's going to happen. She's probably going to get rolled up by probably R-Truth.
I personally feel like you have to book her the way you booked Triple H when he split from Shawn Michaels. You have to book her that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to book her to be like the next coming of like the cerebral assassin, and let her be as vicious as Triple H was, and let her create her own stable the way Triple H did. You kind of like, again, she has the mic skills, she has the veteran savvy. She's already old, so her timeline isn't as long as some others.
Mm-hmm.
Let her run roughshod over the division for a little bit. And then, again, someone like Mandy Rose, who would have the Money in the Bank, would be the perfect foil for her.
And in that situation, listen, who the hell would she have to be fighting for Mandy Rose to actually be able to get the drop on her?
Nia Jax. Returning Nia Jax.
Yeah, I can see that.
I got one for you, and I'll lead it with this. I'll do it this way. My pick is Shayna to win this match. She's the new champion, and we'll lead into the next match, which is the NXT Women's Title, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see where you got. Okay.
All
right.
So watch where I'm going. Rhea wins because Vince is not convinced with Shayna. So Charlotte can't win an NXT title because Charlotte is going to have to take the title off Shayna.
Mm-hmm.
They start the feud, and that's when Mandy will cash it in when Shayna fights Charlotte.
I can see that
too. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Because that was the one pet peeve I had, that they didn't give both of those women more time to wrestle in that ring in the Battle Royal.
Mm-hmm.
They really wanted more time to go. And I thought the way Charlotte eliminated Shayna did like a disservice. I felt like
That was annoying.
it was
That was the dumbest thing I've ever
it was
seen.
the dumbest elimination. Like she ran roughshod when she came in. She ran roughshod in that ring, and she that way. I'm like, come on, you just like killed her, and then you try to build her back up in elimination chamber, but you ruined it. Ruined it. Like the idea was there, but the execution was poor. So I honestly believe that Vince is not fully into Shayna, but like Jaquan said, he hitched the wagon already. He's got to go with it, and Charlotte is his.
You know why, right?
Take it out.
You know why, right?
Why is that?
The exact same reason why he ain't to give Sonya Deville her thing, because she's not attractive to him.
Of course, and that's the wrong reason because NXT Shayna is a beast. She's a beast. She can
and for this other reason,
she's not a blonde
because of the fact that they had that too, but the other reason is because of the fact that they put an NXT matchup and gave it WWE production. When they put her and Kairi Sane in the ring together on Raw a couple of weeks ago, and they didn't put on a takeover match, Vince automatically got in his mind after that one time, oh, well, I don't know if I can, I don't know if she's WrestleMania main event material. Dude, get your bookers, put them in a corner, in a closet, get your NXT bookers, have them book those two. Because they will tear the freaking house down like they did before.
Not to mention, again, Shayna winning frees up Shayna versus Asuka, the rematch that they hinted at. Shayna versus Liv Morgan, which they can build. And they can turn Liv Morgan into what they did with Dakota Kai.
With Shayna Asuka, you have that out because of the fact that Asuka was hurt in that match. In the Elimination Chamber. She had the wrist injury. So Shayna targeted the wrist and everything like that. So, you had Asuka lose, but you had her lose but in part because of the fact that she was hurt before the match. So,
and I don't know what show she's on, but then you also have Ember Moon, who whenever she comes back, like you have people don't realize a lot of the women's division is on the shelf. Like a lot of the hitters from the women's division, they're on the shelf. Like Naomi just came back. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay haven't come back yet.
Nice.
Ember Moon has been on the shelf. Huh?
They're getting repackaged.
Yeah.
Well, again, Ember Moon has yet to come back because she keeps getting hurt. Nice. Tamina just came back. Like you have to kind of, and again, we're still sitting up here chilling, acting like Ruby Riott can't main event or put on a great match if given the time and opportunity. So like Ruby Riott is still there. So I mean, Shayna to me would have a lot of viable feuds as long as they're not washes. Like give Sarah Logan a legitimate match.
They won't.
I know they won't, but I'm saying like even if it's not, it doesn't have to be against Shayna Baszler per se. But like, remember the days when like they would have qualifier matches for like the number one contender match, where like they would build up to a number one contender, where the number one contender match was just as big as a title fight. Like that's kind of what you have to do to the women's division now, because we have to see everyone, because there's like 5 on each show, so we have to see everyone. And as people are starting to come back, you integrate them into these feuds. Like they have to do something, because the women's division is abysmal. It is laughable that we're coming off the heels of a women's evolution, and it's not the women's fault. It's not. I'm sorry. I refuse to blame the talent.
No, it's not.
Ain't no reason to blame the talent.
There's no reason.
It is. Look
this way.
Look at this way. It is 1,000% the those from on high.
Yeah, because if you look at what the talent done in NXT compared to the SmackDown,
like
you can.
Dana Brooke was a stud in NXT. Keep it a buck. Dana Brooke was a stud in NXT.
That's what's annoying. It's like, come on,
Or truth be told, you know what would actually work? If they did a Mae Young Classic, but they did it on TV. And the winner becomes the number one contender for whatever title, and it basically becomes the equivalent to the King of
The
the
King
Ring
of
for
the
the
Ring.
women.
Yep.
Yeah. If they were to do that, that would immediately put the type of buzz in the women's division that you need, and it would put the women back at the forefront, because right now your men's talent is terrible too.
Mm-hmm.
It's top heavy. It's terrible. The booking is terrible. You don't know what you're doing with 90% of the feuds. Let the men take a backseat. Put the tag teams and the women's division, because again, the Dusty Classic just being an NXT thing works, but there are dozens of other tag teams that you can pay homage to.
Yeah.
You can do a TLC Classic where literally you have teams go at it, and the three teams at the top of the mountain face each other in a classic TLC match for the chance to choose who they're going to fight. Tell me that's not main event. Where again, now you have all the best tag teams, but then you don't have a tag team like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm making too much sense now. I get it. But it's like, think about it. You won't have the Street Profits. You won't have, who the hell has the, you won't have Miz and Morrison.
Mr. Morrison.
But you literally have your hands on, you can bring up tag teams for Christ's sake.
I'll throw one out there for you in that one. You have a tournament running across all three brands.
There you go.
The winner of each tournament, you have an NXT winner, you have a SmackDown winner, you have a Raw winner. The three of them face off at a pay-per-view in a TLC match. Whichever team wins that match faces off for that brand's championship.
You could do it that way too.
I mean,
that way you sit up here and you elevate that tag team title from from NXT. So
Yeah.
you'll end up in a situation where you have in the ring at the same time AOP going up against the Undisputed Era, going up against the Usos.
Hell, you can. I'll go even further than that, because we're not even taking into consideration that there's a fourth brand right now,
NXT UK.
and their tag team division ain't no chumps either. Because imagine reuniting Oni Larkin and Danny Burch. You know, you got the grizzled young veterans.
Oh man, don't forget.
You forgot about them boys. Them boys was hitters, boy.
Them boys was.
Them some nasty dudes, bro. Those are what you want the revival to be, honestly. So I mean, like,
they got done
dirty. You can just have like a tag team turmoil situation where instead of it being 3 teams, you have 4 teams in the TLC, and you basically make it the equivalent of. And honestly, if they were to do it after WrestleMania, you can do the TLC match at Money in the Bank, and just have the Money in the Bank for the tag division be that.
Yeah.
And then the hell with the brand. Like, yes, I get it, brand supremacy, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I understand. But imagine for a second, you have a team from NXT UK randomly showing up and cutting promos at every single brand.
I would say like the winner can decide which belt they want to go for. I mean,
exactly, and they don't do that bullcrap that they did with Charlotte, where it's like you have to choose. You have to choose. Don't do that. No. That's stupid. That's dumb.
Let it be like Money in the Bank. Cash in whenever they want, wherever they want. So it could be at a live, it could be at a pay-per-view, it could be at a regular show.
And again, that gives you the opportunity for the undisputed. Once the Corona thing or COVID-19 or whatever kind of Resident Evil name you want to give this thing, once this ban is lifted, now imagine having the Undisputed Era showing up in a tag team titles match with Imperium and whoever the NXT tag team is, when they already have heat with Imperium. Imagine, the Undisputed Era showing up and Adam Cole showing up and attacking Roman Reigns because he's a champion, but then the Usos come out and they have the titles, but then the rest of the Undisputed Era shows up with the Money in the Bank. And, the Undisputed Era is standing tall, but there's also the Money in the Bank situation. that adds that much more gravity to the Money in the Bank situation. Imagine Seth Rollins comes back and he's this new guy and he still has his profits and AOP has the tag team titles and Undisputed Era shows up to run roughshod. The possibilities are actually endless.
Yeah.
If they were to
Look at
do
all
this
these
right.
ways we're
But
sitting
we
up here
know they're not
trying
going
to
to
elevate
do
people.
this right. They're not going
All
to
right,
do this right.
let's bring it back in. I don't know how we
That's
got
what I'm saying.
all
Look
the way
at how we trying to elevate people.
Sorry.
from the NXT
Sorry.
Women's title.
Sorry.
We got all the way to the whole entire tag team division.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. So Rhea Ripley,
Like-
Charlotte Flair.
Rhea Ripley, because duh. Charlotte's not going back down to NXT. Charlotte with the new women's NXT title looks stupid. Charlotte right now is probably doing some of her best work because she's not wrestling. And I hate to say that, but it's because she's not wrestling. And we're finally getting to see OG Charlotte on the mic when she was with Dana Brooke and she was getting on everybody's nerves.
I was going to say that.
Only thing they need to do is stop having her come out with that stupid ass robe and have her come out. And notice, she looks way more mean and way more annoying when she just wears her regular clothes.
Yep.
When she looks like Ashley, she looks like a bitch. And that's what everybody wants to see.
Benny?
That's simple.
I'm going with Rhea. However, I'm gonna say that at some point, not this coming WrestleMania, but at some point, Charlotte is going to win that NXT Women's title again.
I don't think so, man.
I think she's going to win it just because of the fact that NXT is the third brand now.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you want to, because the idea is let's get Charlotte to 16. All right. Unless you want to sit up here and keep throwing the Raw and the SmackDown Women's Championship on her, you're going to have to throw the NXT title on her at some point.
Yeah, I agree with that theory, but I don't see. All right, so they call it NXT the third brand, but because of the title range, I don't think they'll count it as that high.
If they're going to actually be the third brand, all they have to do is act like it.
Well, if you're going to use that logic, then Charlotte already has more reigns than we're counting.
Because she's won the NXT title before.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not counting those reigns. They're counting from when she won the Divas title.
Here's the thing, though. Prior to NXT going live, NXT was honestly a completely separate universe.
Right.
Except for one time, and that was when Seth Rollins and Triple H were feuding.
Yeah.
And when Seth showed up, he showed up at a takeover or whatever, and he started calling them out. That's the only time they crossed at that point. Now, because of the fact that they're trying to present NXT as an equal to the other ones, you can actually put it out there like, okay, NXT is our third brand. We're going to throw it out there, whereas, Charlotte Show's going to go over here. And on top of the fact that now you have people like Finn Balor back in NXT who have already been on the main roster. If he goes down there and he wins the NXT championship, now all of a sudden it's just like, wow, Finn Balor's been the Universal Champion. He's been the Intercontinental Champion. Now he's the NXT Champion again. We're going to be counting this reign as part of his thing. I could honestly see them doing this with Charlotte, too. I don't know how long she would keep it. I don't think she would keep it for very long. But I do think they're going to put that belt back on her at some point.
I mean, if you do it, it has to be delicately. Like you have to, because it's like you can't have Rhea drop the title, but you also can't have Rhea lose to Bianca Belair, if that makes sense.
Not
so
yet.
The only logical person, no, you can't do it at this point because she's lost to her too many times. Like Bianca Belair being at the top for this long and not winning the title actually makes no sense now. So like the only logical thing would be to take the title off Rhea and then have someone in between to give it to then have Belair win the title. But then it's like you also kind of have the situation where you have this Dakota Kai situation going on, and then you have the Tegan Knox thing going on, and then what the hell happened to Toni Storm? You know, like there's
I think
so
she went
many.
back to NXT UK.
She probably just doesn't want to be in Florida. I feel like she just doesn't want to be in Florida, so she's probably back in Britain. But anyway, like you have all of this going on, and then you're trying to also build. I think you may be onto something because they're trying to rebuild the women's division, and as much talent as they have in the women's division, they don't have a lot of marquee talent in the women's division. It's a lot of like talent that's very mid card right now.
Yeah.
And that's a part of the problem. But I do think the only way to transition into that is after you have to get rid of Rhea and you have to get rid of Charlotte. Like it just has to be Bianca at the top and then rebuilding that. But Rhea's so young, you don't want to bring Rhea up that
No.
quickly. You don't want to do that.
I want Rhea in NXT long enough to where she can actually develop her promo skills a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you hear, now granted, this is me talking basically just from hearing Rhea Ripley on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to her delivery, it is incredibly slow. Where she's trying to make sure, it seems like she's trying to make sure she remembers every point that they were trying to give her.
That's because of how they do it on the main roster.
I got you, but my thing is just like the more you cut promos in front of people, or the more you do anything for the most part, the faster your brain is going to recognize how to do that thing. It's the same thing as muscle memory. So where I'm thinking, because of the fact that she hasn't been on this side of the world that much, where she was cutting them over in the UK, now she's over here in the US. You got a different audience.
Yeah.
Now she's just, because it seems like granted, I'm not sitting up here saying that this is exactly what it is, but to me, it's like she's trying to relearn how to do it.
I think she's trying to learn the style in which Raw and SmackDown do it. I can agree with you on that. But this goes back to the original point that we've had. They have to let these wrestlers cut their own.
They're doing this and they're saying, "Listen, this is your promo. Go out there and this is it."
No, they have to, and I wish that they would have guys like Edge also be in that promo class, because Edge has openly said that like they got to a point where they would take it and just be like, I'm gonna use this, 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 and this, but I'm not saying the rest of this. And they just took what they wanted to use and they went out and did their own promos. I feel like a lot more wrestlers need to do that, because trying to do word for word for word doesn't work. Even John Cena said he did that. Like all the greats have done that, because you have to be able to put yourself into that scenario and just shoot from the hip. You can't sit here and recite lines. Like it's not gonna work. These people aren't professionally trained actors. It's not gonna work.
Like the only thing,
but I do understand what you're saying and why it wouldn't work for. Like Rhea needs at least another 3 or 4 years in those promo classes at the development center and the all that stuff. So I get what you're saying there. It's very difficult for me to see Charlotte winning the title while you have Bianca Belair, who still hasn't won a title. You have Rhea Ripley, who's going to continue to chase the title. You have, I guess you could say, Mia Yim, who's on the cusp. You have Dakota Kai, who's on the cusp. You have Tegan Knox, who literally just needs a push right now. But she also needs the promo work because her accent is so heavy. Like you have a solid potential main card, but all of them chasing Charlotte is like bringing Undertaker back and putting the title on Undertaker. You get what I mean?
I hear what you're saying. My only thing about that is you can go out there and you could say, give it to, like, put Bianca out there for, just for argument's sake, because of the fact that aside from Rhea Ripley, she's had the most conflict with Charlotte. Bianca Belair couldn't beat Rhea Ripley. Charlotte goes out there. Granted, not at WrestleMania, but at another event at some point. She ends up beating Rhea Ripley. Oh, look, I did what you couldn't do. I dethroned this woman. I dethroned the woman that was running. I dethroned the woman that dethroned the woman that ran this division for the past 2 years. Who's going to stand up to me? And then you have Bianca come out there. Granted, not the not the smoothest of victories, but she goes out there and she actually does take Charlotte out. Somehow, skin of her teeth, manages to hit the KOD out of nowhere. Charlotte's trying to do her little moonsault. Bianca catches her, hits her with the KOD out of that.
If they could figure out how to do that spot,
I don't know how physics would work there.
That would be amazing. If they could pull off that spot, Jesus Christmas.
Listen,
That would probably be one of the biggest pops you've ever heard in wrestling, period.
Like I said, I don't know how physics will work there, but hey, listen, if it can be done, I'm pretty sure Charlotte will figure out how to get herself into that. Remember, she's the one who wrestled Trish Stratus, or as Wrestle Talk put, Charlotte wrestled herself while Trish Stratus did some moves in the corner.
She wrestled a fucking broomstick at that point. The only way I could see it is if like she's about to set up for it, and then Bianca catches her.
Bianca catches her, yeah.
And then like does like this super KOD, which would look beautiful.
Brutal.
Like Charlotte would basically like die. Like you would have to have Charlotte just basically die in the middle of the ring.
But imagine the rub coming off of that. Your NXT champion is the one who beat Charlotte Flair.
And then it immediately puts her back into a feud with Rhea, honestly. Yep. It's just, it goes right back around. And then, you have the rest of the women like, wait, hold on, you lost to Charlotte. Yeah, okay. You could work it. You could work it. It would have to be over the next year, obviously. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not right this second, but that's why I'm saying down the line at some point, just because third brand, Charlotte has to have another championship. She has to have some more championship rings. She's going to get that title at some point. It's just not going to be right now. So, like I said, bringing it back to where we're actually supposed to be.
Honestly, no, low key too. I feel like Charlotte's like the one woman that I could look at and be like, she would actually be pretty cool as the Intercontinental Champion too, like a la China. But that's another conversation.
Yeah,
like she has that kind of pedigree where like I could see her wrestling a dude. But
I can see her wrestling a dude too. They're just not going to do it.
No, they're not going to do it. But like physically, she's the closest thing we've had to China since.
Paul is like, I don't care.
I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I have a better chance of seeing Bianca Belair pull that off than Charlotte Flair.
I mean, just from again from a toe-to-toe promo character work kind of situation. Because think about it. What would actually make more sense? I could see Charlotte beating Sami Zayn.
Right.
Over Bianca Belair beating Sami Zayn.
When China won, she didn't do no promo work.
China
granted, I get that aspect of it, but I'm saying like, look at who she beat. Like she was beating dudes like Chris Jericho and Jeff Jarrett. Kind of situations.
Solid dudes, but I mean, all right. So you're comparing China, who's built like a brick house, to Charlotte Flair, who's probably a buck.
Who's built like a brick P. What's the problem?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see the difference.
This is what I'm telling you. Bianca Belair, I could believe it. Bianca Belair doing it. I can believe Nia Jax probably doing it for a little bit. Maybe.
Nia is a lot more believable. But I mean, my whole thing is Bianca's character doesn't translate in that sense.
Well,
that's what I'm talking about.
But I don't know. I just don't see. I just can't believe Charlotte beating men. I just can't. I'm sorry. It's not believable. Here's the funny thing. In a world that's not believable, to say it's not believable is crazy.
That's fair.
I need to see one thing out of this entire conversation that we're having right now. It is absolutely never going to happen, but somehow, some way, I'm going to manipulate 2K to make sure that I can get Charlotte to put Brock Lesnar in the figure 8.
Oh my god!
Have him tap. But anyway,
So we all
Back on
agree.
target.
Next match. Next match, John.
When are we getting to the? I was gonna say, when are we getting to the 2 main event matches?
We got
Yeah.
two left. We got
Seriously
one left.
long card.
3. We got 3 left.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We still got 3 matches left.
Yeah.
This
John
card
Cena
is
and The Fiend.
so long.
Who you got, Benny?
Okay, so remember how I said that there was going to be some swerves?
Yeah.
Oh god, don't tell me.
I'm picking John Cena.
I knew it.
I'm picking John Cena just because of the fact that they have sat up here and once again made it so that Bray Wyatt is Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I want this man to go out here and actually be the Fiend, to actually be the person that's going to go out here and actually change all of this stuff and turn it in and become this new character that's going to run roughshod over the WWE. The mere fact that they had him job out to frickin' Goldberg.
Yep.
After not winning by disqualification, after being defeated in Hell in a Cell because he couldn't continue. The character's destroyed. You have the option and you have the ability to rehab him with this right here. And the only way they could have done that is if Bray, after dropping the title to Goldberg like he did, was like, I had to get this off me because I couldn't get what I wanted with it. They didn't do that. They were just like, oh, well, the Fiend was born because of John Cena. They're trying to do this retroactive continuity thing when it comes to WrestleMania. What was that, 30 or 31? No, I think it was 30 that he fought John Cena and lost. And that's where the whole Bray can't win the big matches thing started up. This is where they're trying to start this mess. But I'm looking at it and I'm just like, if there's anybody that Vince is not going to put over at this point, it's going to be him. I don't see it right now. And I hate myself for saying this, but John Cena's winning this match. Y'all go ahead.
Damn. I got the Fiend winning this match. Redemption. That's it.
I have the Fiend winning this match because I don't think John Cena will allow Vince to have him win the match. I think the type of dude that John Cena is and the way in which he knows he's transitioning and he's accepted his fate as, I'm here to put younger talent over, but you have to want it. You have to do. Bray Wyatt's put in enough work where he has John Cena's respect, and he's only coming back to do this match out of respect for Bray Wyatt.
And I think he realized a lot of things that he messed up in, like the Nexus spot, the spot. So he's trying to fix it around.
Yeah, he's trying to fix those things that he couldn't fix before. So I think that if anybody else can talk to Vince candidly and be like, no, we're not doing it that way, and I don't think we should do it that way, and if we're going to do it that way, I'm not going to do it, it's John. So I think as much as Vince McMahon is going to try to Vince this match, the Fiend's going to win.
I'm not going to change my pick, but I hope you're right.
I cannot believe I'm putting my faith in John Cena right now, but I'm putting my faith in John Cena.
I'm not going to change my pick, but I hope you're right. I really do hope that they actually turn him around and put the Fiend back into
I don't think that the Fiend's character is going to get turned around or revolutionized or gonna look any different. I completely agree with you. The Fiend character, the mystique of the Fiend is absolutely destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
There's no coming back from it at this point. There's just not. Any other person that they could have used to restore the Mystique is too old to be wrestling, and they booked themselves into a corner where even if the Fiend wins, he's obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to use the terminology of the broken one, but he's obsolete. Matt knew it. Bray knew it when Matt left. At this point, I want to know how long Bray's contract is.
I was going to say the other thing that actually got me, and the other thing that actually has me thinking the way that I am about this one was a little Twitter exchange that Bray Wyatt had right after, I think it was Ricochet lost to what's his face that just lost the 24/7 title.
Riddick Moss.
Riddick Moss.
Yeah, Riddick Moss.
Clown shit.
Somebody went out there saying something about, wow, they really trying to kill people's characters, and Bray literally was just like, yes. So I don't know if there's any punishment coming from that, or I don't know, like maybe he could sit up there and spin it to him like, yeah, I'm just trying to work the fans or whatever. Like, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure like he does feel what he said.
I'm sorry, I just saw Andrade pin Cedric Alexander with a 4 count, and the ref still continued the match.
With a what? He counted.
Oh, wait, no, he's calling. He counted to 3 and then counted again and called the match.
Yeah, they basically they set up the feud between them and Street Profits in that match. It was dumb. It was dumb.
Oh my! And
you'll see, they set it up right there. But continuing,
sorry,
the championship.
That was a side.
Goldberg and Roman Reigns.
If Goldberg wins this match, I swear to everything, we need to go to Connecticut and burn headquarters down.
If who wins it?
Goldberg.
Oh.
It actually makes no sense. It makes 0 sense for Goldberg to win this match. Roman Reigns, at this point, I feel like Roman Reigns has paid his penance for being the poster boy. He's paid his dues. We need to forgive Roman Reigns. We need to stop with the whole Roman is a company man. We need to just stop. Just Roman Reigns has fully earned the right to be World Heavyweight Champion in WWE, in my opinion. And I believe that, yes, he's going to be crowned. Is it going to be in a way that anyone wanted it to be? Absolutely not. Because him pinning Goldberg is stupid. Him facing Goldberg is stupid. I don't care what Chris Jericho has to say on Twitter about Goldberg being Blockbuster. Goldberg ain't been Blockbuster since 2012.
I think he was being sarcastic. Anyway.
No, I fully don't believe that at all. He really went on like a full rant, was like, if anyone who really knows anything about wrestling, they know what Bill Goldberg brings to the table, blah, 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 yada, 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 yada.
It's funny that he would say something like that, though, because Jericho doesn't like Goldberg.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the part that I didn't understand.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, okay, if you know Goldberg, if you know what he brings to the table, what does he bring? Jackhammer and a spear. That's it. And a 5-minute match.
If you can even call it a jackhammer.
Yeah, it's not even a jackhammer. It's a freaking suplex.
You know what he brings to the table.
Well, again, for the simple fact that I hope to God they don't allow Roman Reigns to start doing the jackhammer now. Like, I don't. I agree he needs another finisher, but if this is them just trying to give him the jackhammer, this is dumb. Let Matt Riddle keep doing it, because Matt Riddle actually knows how to do it the right way. But yeah, Roman Reigns. And hopefully it's more than a 5-minute match, but I don't know if Goldberg can do enough where it's more than a 5-minute match. But you know Roman's going to sell, hit a couple of big moves, and that's going to be it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, it's going to be Roman, and Roman's finally going to get his due penance. And I think this is his 5th title reign or something like that. Third? It's either his 4th or his 5th, because I know he's had at least 3.
Yeah. As far as I go, absolutely Roman Reigns. Small sidebar for that. If you're going to give Roman Reigns another move, give him the jackknife.
Yeah.
He already does the power bomb as far as like when they did the triple power bomb thing. That he was the guy giving the power bomb. Let him use the power bomb. I would not be upset with that. Give him
And
something
give him the
because
old
fear is
school
overused.
jackknife where it's like you get
The
the
release
Ricochet
power bomb.
Yeah, like the one where it's just like you're gonna jackknife him. He does the whole rocker, Hawaiian dude thing when he does it. Make him as campy for kids as you can. Like let him beat Joe and give him the jackknife. But we'll see.
Anyway, yeah, I digress. Roman Reigns is going to win this match, and
Yeah.
there cannot be any other result besides that. And this is even more so than WrestleMania 34 when Roman had to beat Brock Lesnar and he lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
He cannot lose this match.
No.
There is absolutely zero, less than zero. There is absolute zero.
And don't give me that whole crap of like Raw after WrestleMania he wins it in a rematch.
Screw
Like
that.
don't do that. Don't give me that. No.
There is less than zero benefit to Goldberg holding this title beyond WrestleMania.
Yeah.
There's no benefit to Goldberg
The
holding the
man-
title, period.
Well, no. I can see why they put on Goldberg. I mean, think about it this way.
Because in a situation, and I think I know where Paul's going with this one. My bad to cut you off, but here's the situation: when Goldberg won the championship, there was no COVID-19 thing. You were going to end up in a situation where you had Fiend versus Reigns at WrestleMania, and the fans were going to kill Roman for winning the championship there.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, you take so much heat off of Roman Reigns and put it on Goldberg, somebody that you're not trying to put over. And you give Roman Reigns the win over Goldberg, winning the championship. He gets the title back that he never lost. He doesn't have the same heat that he would have had if he had beaten the Fiend, because you would have had Undertaker levels of after that WrestleMania where he beat Undertaker. It was just 33, I think it was, where he couldn't even get a word out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like that I could understand. That's why I said there's no benefit to him holding the belt past Mania. Right now, this is the only benefit is for him to hold the belt and be that transitional champion for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, because if Roman beat the Fiend at WrestleMania, you can't put that match anywhere near the main event because people will be leaving at that point. People will probably be leaving at that point. Why stay for the next match? Brock is not going to win, or if he does win, who cares? They just destroy the Fiend, which is probably the best match they have.
I hear everything that y'all are saying. I completely understand it. Here's my fix to it.
No.
My fix to it, which is something that they've stopped doing, which makes me really upset. Could have just had the Fiend relinquish the title.
What's that?
Could have had the Fiend relinquish the title.
I think that's what they did. He went out there. He stayed down for the 3 count. Goldberg is celebrating. The lights go out. They come back up, and the Fiend is standing in the ring looking at him.
That's a crappy way to relinquish the title.
I think that's what they did there. I think that's how they decided to have him relinquish the belt.
That's stupid.
But yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
What they should have done is have Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Bray Wyatt, come out and cut a promo saying, well, friends, this whole situation has been fun, and I really enjoyed beating up Seth Rollins for this title. But I don't want it. I want John Cena. And put the title in the middle of the ring.
That's what I was saying before.
It's literally like a 5-minute promo, and everybody's just like, what?
Well, not even. You don't have to relinquish the title.
I think
you don't have to relinquish the title.
The only reason why you can't do that is because it buries the belt.
No, the easier way around it would be like, okay, all right, I beat Goldberg. All right, there's one person I want to fight, and it's John Cena because of this and that. And John, here's a caveat: if you beat me, here's number 17, tiebreaker. You get it. You want it? Come and get it.
Well, that's what should have happened.
That's nice.
That's what should have happened.
And you get what happens. The Fiend comes in and he beats John Cena. Puts on a good match. They put on a good match, and he beats him. That's what should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
But because they wanted to put the belt on Roman, we get this cluster. Fuck.
Well, the other thing is because of the fact that Goldberg popped, I think, what was it, 200,000 more people than SmackDown was averaging. Vince, basically got all kinds of giddy and started shaking his pants started shaking a little bit. So, he was just like, oh, well, this is what we got to do. We got to put the belt on him because he popped a rating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really? That's, you know what? There's no such thing as long-term anything with this man anymore.
No.
Yeah, no.
But we could go off on that forever.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is the last one.
This is another one of those where you can't screw this up.
Lesnar.
You can't screw this up. You really can't. You can't screw this one up.
And Drew McIntyre. This is. I think we can honestly all agree is Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
You can't screw this one up. Like you really can't. Like if you screw this one up at this point, it's like you might as well just have Brock relinquish the title and retire because
at that point,
every time he shows up, it's like he's gonna win the title and then we're gonna be held hostage for 2 years. Yeah. Like it's not entertaining anymore.
And here's the thing, though. I think this will kind of give it away. Is like they're saying Brock is actually selling for Drew.
Yeah. He's selling the Claymore like death, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's selling the Claymore like
he's selling the Claymore the way he sold Roman Spear.
You know what I'm looking at with Drew right now? And I don't want him winning the championship to actually end up like this other person. I think that what Vince sees in Drew is Diesel.
Yeah.
Where you have somebody of that tall, that not necessarily lean, where he's not like super muscular, but at the same time he's athletic enough and built enough and toned enough to actually be a legitimate threat. Where he's in that kind of vein between, like, if you take Hogan and then you take Bret Hart and then you make him do the Dragon Ball Z fusion dance, you probably end up with Drew McIntyre in Vince McMahon's eyes.
He reminds me of a way more athletic Test.
Yeah.
Who we don't talk about enough, but that's a whole other podcast.
But
that's kind of who he reminds me of.
But I'm looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe this is what they're seeing in him. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's looking like, okay, the Diesel thing didn't work out in the mid-90s because we were in the middle of a transition period and all this other stuff. Let's try to do that again with this guy who basically emulates the same thing. Whereas you had him calling himself Big Daddy Cool, or when he went over to WCW, Big Sexy. Now you have Drew McIntyre, the sexy Scott, out there trying to basically call back to that nonsense or whatever. Out there nipping up like he's Shawn Michaels. The Claymore, the new Sweet Chin music or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's almost the exact same setup. Whereas instead of him going over there stomping his foot in the corner, he's doing the countdown.
Mm-hmm.
Count that down to Claymore. So, like, this is honestly what I'm seeing right now. Is Vince is looking at, he's seeing the new generation again in Drew McIntyre.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Okay.
It's stupid, but it makes sense.
I'm okay with it. As long as they do it right. I
don't care as long as he wins.
I mean, again, I don't look at Drew McIntyre and think throwback American sex symbol. Like, I don't see it. Like, I think scary, brutal Scott. But, I mean, maybe that's just my lack of imagination. Who knows? Just like I didn't look at Dolph Ziggler and think Shawn Michaels, but I mean,
the only reason why I look at Dolph Ziggler and think Shawn Michaels is because of the way he sells.
Yeah, but that's like saying Isaiah Ryder looks like Michael Jordan.
Who?
Because they both can dunk. Isaiah Ryder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. It's like calling Dolph Shawn Michaels is like calling Isaiah Ryder Jordan. Like, don't get me wrong, Isaiah Ryder was trash.
It doesn't fit. It does. It only fits in one category, and that's that one. Like
that's my point. That's exactly
Mhm.
my point. Because I look at Dolph Ziggler and it's like, okay, he had long hair, he wears the same tights. Like you're trying to be like Shawn. The only way where he's actually like Shawn is that he sells really well. That's it. Nothing else he does is like Shawn.
Super kick.
Everybody does a super kick though.
Everybody does a super kick though. His super kick doesn't even look like Shawn's.
No.
That's a whole nother rant that I'm gonna get on. I'm not even gonna go there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's been a long show.
I really hate the fact that they're trying to do the big sexy thing, but I do see what you're talking about.
We ended up doing like two-parter. I have to cut this up as a two-parter. So when you guys see this, it's a two-parter pretty much. It's a second part because yeah, it's been a long show. So with that, we're gonna and wrap this show, and we're gonna look at what content we can bring you because everybody's gonna be in on the COVID-19. So we're gonna try and see if we keep you guys entertained during all this time. All right, so stay tuned. The 3 count. It's been Jaquan, Benny, and myself. Until next time, stay safe. Wash your hands. You little nasty.
Yo, shout out to my future wife, Kayla Braxton.
This man.